Welcome to the SportsBros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Cool. And without any further ado, here they are, the SportsBros. What's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Cool, a.k.a. the HOC, here at the SportsBros Podcast. And guess what? You got all three of us together at the same damn time. Me and B-Live have finally decided to come back from San Diego. It was hard departing beautiful San Diego, but it is what it is. We got 9-to-5 jobs and a normal lives, and so we got to come back. And also, we didn't want to leave Scottie D by himself as well, too. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast, episode 32 of this year's Sports Bros Podcast. It feels good to be back, and of course, I got my co-hosts with me, my guys, my fellas, my dudes, my boys, my brohams, the almighty B-Live.
Well, wait a minute.
What?
We didn't start this off right at all. Hold on. 9 to 5. Who the hell has a 9 to 5?
Hey, I'm keeping it honest, brother.
I wish I had a 9 to 5. No, see, there I go off the track again. Ladies and gentlemen, just be your boy, the almighty B-Live. 1/3 of the Sports Bros Podcast. It feels good to be back because, man, well, I'll tell you this. San Diego was absolutely amazing. Eddy Cool, again, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
you.
Man.
I have to do it for the one time.
One time.
Booyaka, 619.
Had to.
San Diego was amazing. WWE, please don't hit a brother up with some copyright and some trademark BS. I ain't feeling it this morning. And Scottie D, you did absolutely amazing by yourself. Hashtag Scott Van Donnelly. You know what I'm saying? He held it down. But yeah, I still gotta give you hell. Just give me a moment. The moment will present itself. The bros are back. Go ahead.
Back in the house like the curtains and the blinds, baby. And of course, who's been holding it down for the past 2 weeks? The Money Man, Scottie D.
Man, I am lucky to have you guys. Welcome back. It's good to be back together with you guys here. Biggest reunion since the Beatles. Oh, that didn't even happen, but we're back together. So glad to have you guys. I missed you the last couple of weeks. I know we stayed in touch personally a little bit over social media, but it's nice to have you guys back. Get us all back together again. So don't leave me anymore. Don't leave me.
You're coming with next time. I don't know how we're going to make it happen, but you're coming with next time.
I hear you. Well, thanks for being back with me. And again, congratulations on your accomplishments and for having your boy out there with you. And I was really happy for you guys to be able to do that together. So anyway, enough love fest. Let's move on and talk some sports, baby.
Yeah, that's right, man. We are back and we are here to talk about sports. Even though myself and the almighty B-Live, we missed a great portion of the Major League Baseball playoffs. But guess what, though? We're not severely out of touch, all right? In case you're under a rock, the World Series begins soon. And we got the Houston Astros representing the American League versus the Washington Nationals representing the National League. Let's see, from a prediction standpoint, I don't think any of us picked the Nationals now, did we?
Not one of us.
No, we picked the Braves. I picked the Braves. B-Live, you picked the Braves. And Scottie D, who'd you pick?
I had the Brewers.
Okay, yeah. So you like 2 Braves, 1 Brewers, and the Brewers didn't even show up. The Braves, something happened, and now we're looking at Washington representing the National League. All right, Scottie D, what are your thoughts on this year's series between the Astros and the Nationals?
Well, first, let me just say, as a Yankee fan, a guy who loves Yankees, I was rooting against my prediction. You know, I think we all picked the Astros, if I'm not mistaken, back in the spring. I was not wanting to see that happen. I was rooting for the Yankees, obviously, but I do believe that the better team won this series. I think the Yankees are going to really have to look at working on hitting the ball to contact, because it felt to me, they jumped Greinke in game 1, and I was feeling pretty good about how they had stole home field and they were going to have 3 in a row in Yankee Stadium. I knew you still had to go through Verlander and Garrett Cole, but I felt like they just were. I was watching a team that was just going up there and trying to hit the big home run. It wasn't. I can remember a few years ago watching the Kansas City Royals go to the World Series back-to-back years, and they just were going up there and hitting the ball, contact, going from first to third, scoring runs, keeping the line moving. And that was not what I was seeing with the Yankees. They were waiting to hit the big home run. I felt like they were all just coming out of their shoes, swinging for the fences, trying to deliver the big hit. And they actually got it in game 6 late, when DJ LeMahieu tied the game up in the bottom of the ninth, or the top of the 9th inning. And then you send your closer, Aroldis Chapman, out there. Instead of blowing him away with the gas, he had trouble finding the strike zone. He walked Springer. For some reason, Gary Sanchez, who I cannot stand, is up there calling slider after slider, and Altuve delivers the big hit. So going into, now that they've got past the Yankees they're going to need, I think, also another starter, because I really hate this bullpenning thing. I don't think it's a formula that's meant for long-term success. The Yankees had a pitcher named Domingo Germán, who late in the year got suspended for domestic violence. I don't really think he would have been a difference in this series, because it was the hitting woes is really what happened with the Yankees. They just weren't hitting with runners on base. But the Astros, they're solid everywhere, man. Their position players are awesome throughout the infield and outfield. They don't really have a weakness, not a glaring jump off the page weakness. And their pitching is so deep. And the one team that might be able to match them with pitching in all of baseball right now is the Nationals. So that's what we got coming up here. I'm gonna say take the under in most of these games, because we're gonna have some solid pitching performances. I do think the Astros are going to be good enough to get through this, but I think it's going to take them 6 games to do that. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton over to B Live. See what you think on that.
Well, what you think, B Live?
I appreciate the baton passing. Because we sat here for a while, and I thought that you forgot that the rest of us were still here, because I felt like that was going to be another 30-minute episode.
Well, you put me in a habit the last couple of weeks.
I understand that you forgot about us, but that was very passionate and driven, because we all know that you are a Yankees fan, and we were trying to check on you, because it was a pretty rough go at it. But I mean, I think
that was a heartbreaker for sure.
But I think your weekend ended up real well. We'll go into the NFL a little bit later, and so it ended up fine. But when it comes to baseball, and that 9th inning of Game 6 of the ALCS was absolutely amazing to watch. That is what October baseball is all about. I struggled through 162 games. I will admit that on the air. I struggle through it because there's so many games, so much to watch and everything like that. But when it comes to October, man, I'm all eyes. Because I was actually at work, and I was like, oh, football. Oh, there's no more meaningful college football. Let's go ahead and get this sound on to baseball. And literally everybody's eyes and ears was like, yes. And then the way that developed and everything, the Astros felt it. They felt it. Top of the 9th, they're about to close out the Yankees. Oh my goodness, LeMahieu crushed. And I mean, who's the right fielder for Houston? Springer. A foot away. His glove was literally not even a foot away from making one of the most amazing catches.
Oh,
but
hell of an effort.
Absolutely. So we're just looking at it. It's like, oh my goodness. Did that happen? Wow. But then 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, in Houston. Mighty Mouse, I like to call him. I don't know what his actual nickname is. Jose, can you see? Jose Altuve, all 5'6". I know I made the meme saying he was 5'5", but man, when he put the hurt on that baseball, he knew it. Everybody knew it. That ball was gone. Walk-off fashion. Man, they partied in Houston. That was amazing. I'm going to say this, though. You say Houston in 6, Scottie D?
Yeah, I'm going Houston in 6 games.
I'm going with the hot hand. I know they've been resting for a little bit, but when I tell you, when it came to the second half of the baseball season, there was not a team better than the Washington Nationals. I'm telling you, they were the hottest team. They turned it completely around. I'm not even going to lie to you. I wrote them off. I'm going to say this for the second time when it comes to the baseball season. I was wrong, because I wrote off the Washington Nationals, and I had hope for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And wrong.
Scottie D's Pittsburgh Pirates, ladies and gentlemen. The Clint Hurdle-free Pittsburgh Pirates.
Currently manager-free Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right. I was wrong. They turned it around. They turned around with a quickness. And Scottie D, you were absolutely correct when you said, because I remember you talking about a team that you feared matching up with, the pitching of the Washington Nationals. It's going to be one hell of a World Series. And I do believe when this publishes, because we publish on Tuesday, it'll be right before Game 1 of the World Series. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying the Washington Nationals, and I'm saying 7 games. It's going to go all 7.
I would love to see that.
At 7.
Let me just add this. I actually kind of briefly alluded to this last week. Last week when I was still doing it on my own, I kind of was talking a little bit about, and this is how long it's been, the Nationals cooling themselves off. They haven't played a game now in over a week. And I was actually, I was talking to a former Major League Baseball player at the gym a few days ago. You might remember Reggie Sanders. He was
I remember him.
The Reds,
I remember him. Yep.
Yeah, he won a World Series with the Diamondbacks in 2001, and he played in 2004 for the St. Louis Cardinals, who swept, I believe, was the Giants in the NLCS, and had to wait for about 6 or 7 days before the Red Sox won and punched their ticket to the World Series. Actually, that was the year they came back from 3-0 and beat the Yankees in 4-3 in 7 games. And I was talking to him about that. I said, you know, the only thing I'm worried about with the Nationals is how long they're sitting. He said, you know, that actually kind of worked against us in 2004. He said it's nice to be able to heal up some bumps and bruises, but you just can't replicate those high leverage game situations where you're under, you know, you're ratcheting up your intensity and you're playing at such a high level, and then you just kind of sit for a week. And the Red Sox swept the Cardinals that year. So I don't believe that that's going to happen, but to the Nationals, I think, you know, with their pitching, it's going to be hard to beat them. They're not going to get swept by any means. Like I said, I'm picking 6 games, but I think it's an advantage to Houston that they've played just 3 days ago and coming right out of the box. I think they have an advantage for the first game, probably maybe 2, to, you know, before the Nationals are getting back in their timing and their rhythm and that sort of thing, trying to get their intensity ratcheted back up. And not to mention, it's going to be in Houston, if I'm not mistaken, the first 2 games. So.
Yep, it's going to be, as B-Live opined earlier, that that Game 1 will be on Tuesday. So the same day this podcast drops will be the same day that the of Game 1 of the World Series. I look at it like this. I'm picking Houston in 7, man. Houston looks really tough, and as you mentioned earlier about momentum, the Nationals have had some time to cool off, and we know what happens that. I mean, look what happened in hockey during the playoffs. Was it the Hurricanes or I forgot who it was, but yeah, during this past hockey season, one team that had some time off, and they were waiting on their opponent, and then they turn around and bit them in the backside, and then rest is good, but it's hard to get that intensity back again. It's sport. We know sports is all about momentum, and if you have that momentum, and if you're riding high, you're feeling good, you're gonna play good. But if you're kind of sitting around and kind of waiting and not doing nothing, you have a chance to get cold and not really into it.
But what slows momentum? Good pitching, and the Nationals are going to be sending out Scherzer. He's one of the best ever. So,
yeah, he'll be starting game one, and opposite of him will be Garrett Cole, the 20-game winner, Garrett Cole. All right, so my prediction is Houston in 7. And when I was I had my connector flight in Houston, that city was buzzing, man. It was buzzing. It was buzzing. Of course, no one said nothing to me because I had my Carolina Panthers coat on, so they didn't say nothing, so nothing was said.
I hear you.
But, yeah, man, I'll take Astros in 7. Who you got, Scottie D?
Astros in 6.
Be live.
I'm going Nationals in 7. I'm going against the grain. Go figure.
Hey, man, that's what you do. That's what Be Live does, when he does, how he does it, or however that saying goes. All right, so that is it for the World Series coverage right now. But there's still some games be played. It's gonna be exciting, man. Just like you said, fall baseball going into November. Somebody got a birthday coming up soon. Me. So yeah, that's how I know it's gonna be a good time of the year. Rolling right along, we have the NFL Week 7 recap, and we got a lot going on, and there's a lot to talk about. And so some of the highlight games. Thursday night, Kansas City defeats Denver. The downside of that is Kansas City loses Patrick Mahomes for 4 to 6 weeks due to a dislocated kneecap. And we'll come back and talk about that later because, Andy Reid, what you doing, baby? Green Bay defeats the Raiders 42-24 as Aaron Rodgers throws 6 TDs. You better watch out for Green Bay, man. They're looking real sneaky. The Baltimore Ravens go into Seattle and defeat them 30-16. They go in there and take the cookies. They go in there and take one in Seattle. The Titans defeat the Chargers. It was a fumble that caused the Chargers to lose, and the Titans win again. The Saints keep rolling, man. They beat the Bears 36-25 to go 6-1. The Rams, they beat the Falcons. I mean, the bottom is officially falling out in Atlanta, 37-10. And then the Mud Bowl, the San Francisco 49ers defeat the Washington Redskins 9-0. When you get a chance, guys, and everyone out there, go and check out the game recap of this game. San Francisco and Washington.
Sloppy
Mud Bowl.
jalopy.
Sloppy Jalopy Fest 2019. But it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. The Cardinals, they defeat the Giants 27-21. And Scottie D, you got a reason to smile this morning as your Dallas Cowboys thump the Philadelphia Eagles 37-10. All right, fellas, what do you think about Andy Reid's questionable quarterback sneak call in that Thursday night game?
Why? I'm going to ask this. Why all of a sudden is it a questionable quarterback sneak call? Every team does it. Every team does it. Like you got a half an inch to go to get a first down. Quarterback goes up the middle. Why all of a sudden now that Patrick Mahomes got hurt, the golden boy of the NFL, he got hurt, and now it's a questionable call. That's not a questionable call. That's what you do. That's why you play the game. So I don't call that questionable at all. That's part of being an NFL quarterback. It's unfortunate that he got hurt, but that's part of the game. Mm-hmm. I say that in tongue-in-cheek because I needed Patrick Mahomes because my fantasy team suffered because this now makes it official that I got a keeper league that I'm a part of, and my 2 keepers this year were Patrick Mahomes and Saquon Barkley. Easily, easy picks for my keepers, and now I've successfully made it through the entire football season, and neither one of them have played in the same week at the same time. So in that league I'm in dead last.
Ooh.
And I'm catching hell for it. And I don't like it. And
I hope when you edit this, Eddie, cool, you can add violins in the background at that point of the
you
show.
can kiss my
Hold on, wait a minute.
Add some violin music for his fantasy football team. Because the people who should be upset are Kansas City fans because their hero went down in a heap on Thursday night. But I'm with you, B-Live. I don't think that you can question a quarterback keeper call. I mean, it's a freak thing. Tom Brady's done it probably 300 times in his career. That's part of football is getting hit by other players. It was just an awkward thing. And when Mahomes gets back, if they have a 3rd and inch or a 4th and inch, I'd call it again. If that's your best option because, like I said, it's football. You don't see – it's not like – a rash of knee injuries happen from quarterback keepers. I mean, it's quarterback sneaks. It's just one of those weird things that happen. Every time somebody gets hurt, you can't change the way you call games or call plays. So I had zero problem with Andy Reid's call on that.
I just find it questionable because he's already. I'm looking at it from the perspective. Okay, you're sliding a little bit. You lost a few games, and then your quarterback's ankle is not, he's not 100% healthy. And, I get it. Like you guys both said, the quarterback sneak is a part of the game. Tom Brady has done it 11 times, and he's damn near perfect every time he does it. But then to add, like you said, it's a free access. So now here it is. You have you have ankle issues. Now you have a dislocated kneecap. Now you're going to be out for an extended period of time. And then you have Matt Moore, who's a serviceable backup. Me and B-Live can attest to that because he did play for Carolina.
Yes, sir.
And
yeah, he's a good guy to have on the team.
Yeah,
but Eddie,
go ahead.
Remember when Carolina was playing Tampa in what was that, week 2, and Cam had a bad foot. We were kind of still wondering why you don't run that quarterback keeper on the goal line anyway. Remember they had a chance to.
Yep.
I mean, he had a sore foot, and we still thought, so what if your foot's sore? You could still fall forward and pick up a first down. Just because Mahomes had a sore ankle, I don't think that should – I mean, this was a freak injury. I really, really don't have a problem with that with Andy Reid. Matter of fact, Andy Reid in his career has done a lot of real cutesy, stupid play calls. That's the most basic call you can make. That's good grinded out football. Let's get the first down and keep going. I actually give him credit for making that call in that situation. It's just a freak result. That's all.
Yep, you're right. It is just a freak result, and it's just hey, let's hope Patrick Mahomes get healthy. He doesn't require surgery, so he's going to be on the shelf for a little bit. So I'm pretty sure fantasy owners are scrambling, but hey, you got a guy by the name of Gardner Minshew probably still out there. And if you don't like I know, go ahead and get Matt Moore or Danny Dimes. So I mean, it is what it is at this point. So yeah, get well soon, Patrick Mahomes. But they won. I mean, they didn't show no signs of slowing down. Also, Teddy Bridgewater. I think that Teddy Bridgewater is the heir apparent to Drew Brees. Taysom Hill, not so much. He'll be a Swiss Army knife, and he'll be, he'll play multiple positions, or he may not even be in New Orleans. But I think that Teddy Bridgewater is the heir apparent to Drew Brees in New Orleans as they beat the Bears 36-25 to go 6-1. Because a lot of people picked the Saints like, this ain't gonna be good. They're not going to be they'll be competitive, but they'll barely be in games. But from the looks of it, the defense has stepped up, and Teddy Bridgewater is making the most out of this situation. What you think about it, B-Live?
I called this years ago. Not necessarily years ago, but when Teddy Bridgewater got picked up by the Saints, I was like, he will be the heir apparent. People tend to forget when Teddy Bridgewater was with the Minnesota Vikings, he was lighting the world on fire until he got hurt. And the world forgot how good Teddy Bridgewater was. And I was like, when the Saints picked him up, I was pissed.
Ugh.
Because that is a division rival, and they literally have the heir apparent. because Drew Brees, he's in his 40s now. I mean, Drew Brees still does Drew Brees things, but I was like, well, Jesus. I think Teddy Bridgewater put him with Kamara, even though Kamara didn't play this game. But with Michael Thomas, and I mean, they haven't missed a beat at all.
Mm-mm.
So it's going to be an interesting 2 games when the Panthers play the Saints later on this year. It's going to be interesting. And it's also going to be interesting to see who's going to be at quarterback for both teams, actually, because Drew Brees will be back healthy. And it's one of those things, unfortunate with both teams, that both teams have gone undefeated with their backup quarterbacks. I will allude to that a little bit later on, possibly. But the Saints' defense has been ridiculous. And I think that's been the thing that makes the Saints that even more dangerous. Is as Drew Brees has gotten a little bit older, they've transitioned over to a running team. Their running game has stepped up, and then as this year, the defense, and last year as well, their defense has been playing otherworldly. I'm like. So that's why I called the Saints to be the NFC favorites earlier this year. I told you so. Teddy Bridgewater being the heir apparent. I told you so. And I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked at all to see what the Saints are doing.
As far as Teddy Bridgewater being the heir apparent, I'm just going to tell you, not so fast on that one.
Ooh.
Hold on, Lee Corso. Wait a minute.
Not so fast.
Oh.
Teddy Bridgewater's had a great 4 games to the point that he might be the heir apparent to Joe Flacco. Teddy Bridgewater may have played himself out of New Orleans. I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but Drew Brees still has some gas left in the tank, and if he decides, I think this is his last year on his contract, but if he decides he wants to come back for another, say, 2 years, I think Teddy Bridgewater has played himself into a starter's role once again, and he's going to have some value in the offseason. And a team like Denver, who's going to need a quarterback because Flacco clearly is not their guy, they're going to need a quarterback in Denver. Denver's wasting years with a stout defense and not being able to generate any kind of offense. And Teddy Bridgewater may have played himself into starting, if not for Denver, for someone else in this league. He's shown he's still got it in him to win some games. So if Brees does the Peyton Manning kind of deal, they win the Super Bowl this year and says, I'm going to go out while I'm on top, then absolutely Bridgewater is going to be their guy going forward. But if Brees decides he wants to come back, I don't know if you can keep Teddy Bridgewater on the sidelines for another year or two. I mean, he's really he's shown something. To go 4-0 with Brees out like that, he's positioned the Saints to be the best, like you said, to go with that defense and that run game, man. He's positioned them to be the best team in the NFC. So he's going to have a little bit of value beyond being a backup going forward, I think.
I like your point there, sir. That's some sound reporting there. I will actually have to agree with you on that.
Oh God, they're agreeing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, just let us have
back
our
together,
moment.
big happy family, the Sports Bros.
Give me a high five. Cut and print. Beautiful guys.
Hey, don't sue us because we ain't got nothing. Don't sue us because we ain't got nothing. We ain't got nothing. Anything, but
we're brothers. We're happy. Yeah, we're singing. Oh wait, can't say that last part.
Then I'm gonna get off the train. Let me go ahead and put his tracks back on the track. And that's for Teddy Bridgewater. His 2019 season stats are he passed for over 1,300 yards, 9 TDs, and 2 interceptions. His QBR is 48. Is 48%. Doesn't matter because the Saints are winning games in more ways than one. Think about it. They beat the Rams.
It says completion rate.
No, it's QBR.
QBR is not a percentage. I didn't think.
Oh well, I hate those damn numbers. Forget the QBR. Just give me yards, touchdowns, and interceptions. The hell with the QBR
and W's.
Yeah, and dubs. Yeah. Exactly.
And I think Teddy Bridgewater is 5-0 actually.
5-0.
Yeah, I think you're
yes,
right.
yes, he's number 5 is 5-0. I've always been a fan of Teddy Bridgewater since his days at Louisville, and I've always told people, I say, hey man, whoever's gonna get Teddy Bridgewater, they got something good. Minnesota had it, and he got hurt. They let him go, and then the Jets. Well, that was just a pit stop, a cup of coffee. But then he fell into a good situation with the Saints. I mean, they got a good line, they got good wide receivers, they got an all-world running back, a good defense. What more could a quarterback ask for? But Scottie D, you just putting something on the mind of the cool one about him probably playing himself into a role in Denver because Waka Flocka Flacco ain't it? Yeah, Joe Flacco, he's the drizzling. He's the drizzling. You know what? I don't know. No, I mean the rise and fall of Joe Flacco. Now you're about to see the other side. He looked horrible the other night. Absolutely horrible. But speaking of looking good, we got Scottie D's Cowboys. They beat the division rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, 37-10. Now we're gonna let Scottie D talk about his beloved Cowboys. Because he was pouting a few weeks ago, but he's happy now. You can tell by the tone of his voice and everything, and he's walking around in a suit like, hey, the boys won. Go ahead, Scott.
It was nice to see the performance, not only to win that game, but to win pretty convincingly. I mean, I didn't expect them to dog the Eagles out the way they did on Sunday night. I thought that they would win, honestly, because they were just for the home field situation and with all the naysayers and pressure that was on them this week, they had no choice but to have a good performance. It was better than I was expecting. But having said that, they still got the same head coach, the same guy that led them to a loss against the Jets a few weeks ago. And this is the hallmark of a Jason Garrett coach team throughout his decade there, is you're going to win some games that you don't expect to win and lose some that you shouldn't. And that's all the signs of a mediocre coach. I would love it if the Cowboys would right the ship and go on and finish the season with 3 or 4 or 5 losses. But I'm just not convinced that Jason Garrett's leadership is – I mean, why would I be convinced? It's never happened before. Why would I be convinced that this guy is going to right the ship permanently? It's like that with him. You're up and you're down and you're up and you're down. At the end of the season, you've looked back and had another average to mediocre season. And, yeah, I'm happy today because we beat the Eagles, who I can't stand because they're a division rival. But I'm keeping that happiness in check because I know – who's in charge of that team.
Yeah, it's a case of, hey, don't get too happy too soon. Celebrate now because next week it could be a whole different story. B-Live, how you feel about these here Cowboys breaking the schneid and putting their foot on the throat of the Philadelphia Eagles?
I don't feel anything.
All right, moving right along.
All roads lead to Dabo.
No,
that's all he cares about.
We have not gotten there. Now, let me say this. Let me say this real quick. I want the entire world to kiss my ring because I said it a while ago that I did not believe in Carson Wentz. I didn't believe in him. And ta-da, guess why? Because I would really, 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 really just get off of these players and riding them and thinking that they're the next heir apparent and the best thing smoking and blah, 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 blah. I was not convinced with Carson Wentz. I actually want to keep Nick Foles. I think Nick Foles was the better quarterback in Philly. He got you to the Super Bowl and won it. Carson Wentz, to the regular season, blah, 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 whatever. I still thought that Nick Foles was better. He was more serviceable, et cetera, et cetera. And now you're starting to see some of the flaws. Man, if that wasn't the sloppiest way to start off a game, they basically handed the Cowboys the game on a silver platter. There's no way the Cowboys were going to lose that game up 14-0 within the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, because they jumped on them early with 2 scores, didn't they?
Yeah, because
they ambushed them pretty quick.
Yeah, because the freaking Eagles handed the ball to them. Had a case. There you go.
Cough it up. Cough it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. So, short field, feed Zeke, and all that, blah, blah, blah. I've said this for years, and it's going to be another case. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NFC least. Not the
Ooh,
East,
the
the
least.
least.
Wow.
And my prediction will come completely true when the Cowboys win the division with a 9-7 record. Nothing about that game was
But that
impressive to
prediction
me.
is subject to change.
Chad show got to be. I'm sticking to my 9-7. You, sir, leave me the hell alone.
All right, so a quick recap at the beginning of the season. Well, during the preseason, we had a friend to the show, JR, on, and JR and B Live made a bet of who would have the most wins between the Eagles and the Panthers.
Oh,
And,
that's right.
Yep, and currently right now, by one game, B Live is in the league as the Panthers sit in second place in the NFC South at 4-2, and the Eagles sit in second place in the NFC East at 3-4, losers of 2 straight, and Carolina has been winners of 4 straight. Hot on fire.
Four of them boys. And watch out, 49ers. We're coming for you. We're going to give the 49ers that first L. It's going to happen. I'm calling it. And that's not the fanboy in me. That is going to be my prediction. Spoiler alert. Mind you. Yeah. 49ers going to get that first L against the Panthers. I like the Panthers. In that game.
Yeah, every time we the last few times we played the 49ers, man, it's been tough, man. I think that one of the last times we played them, the score was like 10-9. We won by it's going to be and from the way both defenses are looking, they look real similar to those teams that 2014 team, no, that 2013 team. They look real similar. So we shall see. And as far as I'm concerned, keep starting Kyle Allen. Keep doing what you do. All right.
I agree.
Yeah. And that is it for week 7 of the NFL. Moving right along to college football. And it goes as follows. We had a Friday night game between Ohio State and the Northwestern Wildcats. Didn't matter because Ohio State beat the brakes off of them 52-3. Clemson defeats Louisville 45-10. The University of Florida defeats South Carolina 38-27. And this should have been that phantom blocking the back on. Wisconsin takes their first L of the season as they lose to Illinois on a last-second field goal, 24-23. Penn State defeats Michigan 28-21. LSU, Ed Orgeron and the LSU Tigers. They defeat Mississippi State 36-13. Texas. I got an error. Who did Texas play again?
Kansas. They played Kansas.
Okay. Yeah, because for some strange reason I put Texas, escape Texas, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
I just saw that too. Like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like the Will Smith movie.
Yeah.
Gemini Man?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not realized, we are not professionals.
No.
We are three dudes that we love sports. So we are allowed to make mistakes like this, and that's what makes us genuine, baby. Sports Bros.
And guess what? We're keeping this in the show.
by the fan, for the fan.
For the fan.
Yeah.
Errors, flaws, and all. Texas escapes Kansas 50-48. Typical Big 12. Ain't nobody playing defense football. And Alabama defeats Tennessee 35-13, but it came to a cost of Tua leaving the game with a gruesome ankle injury, which required surgery. It's called tightroping. They did something. They tightroped something in the ankle, and it was a high ankle sprain, and so they did something. I don't know. You down there in Alabama with Dr. James Andrews in that medical facility, so ain't no telling what the hell happened. So Tua might be out for a little bit. B-Live, man. Trevor Lawrence looked a little bit rock. I mean, he looked a little shaky to start the game, but he bounced back. What are your thoughts of this here Clemson game?
I'm going to say this. Trevor, my dude, hey, I get it. You've been hearing a lot from the media. You've been hearing a lot from the fans. You had by far the best true freshman campaign that anybody has ever had in the history of college football. 15-0. You threw for, I believe, 31 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You beat the brakes off a mighty Alabama team, 44-16. Yeah, I said it, Uncle Max. We are the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions. I want to take this moment, though, because I've been speaking to a lot of Clemson fans, and Clemson fans are in an uproar right now. They just don't understand why things are the way they are. Trevor Lawrence, you don't need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't have to force these throws that you've been making. You're starting to believe in your own hype a little bit too much. You were still, in my mind and in the mind of all of the professional analysts, the best quarterback in the game, without question. Now it's just becoming a point of decision making because it looks like he's trying to do too much. But I will say this to my beloved Clemson fans out there. I'm going to quote the late, like I say late, I meant great, as Stephen A. Smith liked to say, he's a bad man. Aaron Rodgers, to all my Clemson fans out there, relax. Relax. I know that the AP voters want to take us from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. I called us being ranked number 4 after this week because of the way Ohio State beat the mighty powerhouse that is Northwestern. I knew that. They beat them 52-3, and I knew that first half Clemson struggled and they right the ship. I was like, you know what? They're going to put us at number 4. Ohio State will jump us, and that's exactly what happened. Hear me and hear me right now. I feel bad for Boston College.
Ooh.
I feel bad for Wake Forest. I feel bad for Wofford. I feel bad for the South Carolina Gamecocks. There's one other team out there I just can't remember right now. I feel bad because it's going to be now to a point where we're not just going to play to win the game. It's going to be an all-out, shut the entire world up. We're going to put our foot on the gas, and there will be no let up. Like, I don't see the next 5 games where Clemson and Dabo Swinney likes to play 70, 80, 90, 100 players to get reps. I don't see that at this point because now putting us at number 4 with a possibility that Clemson might not make the playoffs, even being undefeated. Oh,
Eddy, cool. I hope you can put some spooky music behind that. Violins for the earlier session and the spooky music behind the I feel bad for Wofford music, that kind of thing.
Hey, we are 9 days away from Halloween, so
yeah, we break up the spooky music.
Yeah, I want this. I want fear, like because
oh, I'm sorry.
No,
because they're going to be psyched up to take down Wofford in a big way, I'm sure.
Why, out of those teams, okay, you know what? I shouldn't even mention Wofford.
Oh boy,
I was going for the remaining schedule.
I know what you were going for. I got that. We want the spooky music for the remaining schedule, man.
Because it's one of those things, and I tell again, my Clemson fans, relax. Because Alabama and LSU, I think that happens next week, right?
It's soon, and I think it's at Alabama's stadium this year. I think they're home.
Either way, you cannot put a one-loss any team above an undefeated Clemson team. So Clemson, all they have to do is do their job.
Mm-hmm.
One game at a time and beat the brakes. To leave no doubt. And I'm telling you right now, Travis Etienne, Lynn J. Dixon, we're going to run the ball down their throats. Trevor Lawrence is good. You're good. But I honestly think right now, the way the rankings are set up, I think it's accurate. I honestly say that. I think it's accurate, but I also think that Clemson has the potential to beat anybody and everybody because they've already done that before. And the defense is not letting up even after losing 6 players to the NFL.
Nope.
Completely new defensive line. They haven't lost one step at all. I think the defense has gotten better because I think our secondary, our linebacker core is ridiculous. Isaiah Simmons, freaking phenomenal athlete, man. He's ridiculous with it. I know I've talked too much. All roads lead to Dabo. I bleed orange. Clemson all day, every day. Yes, sir.
You forgot to bring your own guts. But to answer a few questions earlier about the Alabama and LSU game, correct. It will be in let me pull it up. It will be in Alabama. The time is to be determined on November 9th, a day after my birthday. That's right. A day after my birthday. We got number 2, Alabama will be going up against number 1. I'm sorry. Number 2, LSU will be going up against number 1, Alabama. At press time, because things can change. And that's going to be a slugfest too. Whenever these two teams get together and play as well too. And Be Live, the remaining Clemson schedule. Let's see: Boston College, Wofford, North Carolina State, Wake Forest, Scottie D's Wake Forest, Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and the game of all games, November 30th. At the house, Williams-Brice Stadium, or as the dude called it on ESPN, the damn barnyard. The hell that came from. Chickens, barns. That's okay, though. Clemson versus the University of South Carolina. Scottie D, what are your thoughts on Wisconsin falling to Illinois, getting their first loss of the season?
Well, honestly, I didn't see the game. I heard about it, and I was at a wedding this past weekend, and I didn't really get to spend a lot of time watching college football. But, I didn't see that coming. When I did see Wisconsin play this year, actually, I saw them play Michigan, and they beat the brakes off of those guys. I was not expecting to see Wisconsin go down that early. I thought it would be – I thought they could get to the end of the season. The game that stuck out to me was the Penn State-Michigan game, and seeing – Harbaugh come up short yet again against a good team, because since he's been to Michigan, I was expecting him to sort of really turn that program around the way he did with Stanford. Stanford was legit at the Pac-12 when he was out there, and to see him struggle game after game against Penn State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State especially, you got to wonder how much longer he's going to have, as the head coach of that team. He's a great coach, but, man, it's just not working out there like I was expecting it to. And there's Ohio State there and Penn State both poised to crack that top 4. I think Ohio State's there right now. But that was a big win for Penn State. They beat Iowa a week ago. They beat Michigan. So Penn State's trending in the right direction. Wisconsin, obviously, their stock dropped tremendously this past weekend. But that was the game that, for whatever reason, I just was keeping my eye on the most, and that was the Penn State-Michigan game.
I got a feeling if Jim Harbaugh does not beat Ohio State this year, that's it.
It's a wrap. He has to beat Ohio State. But I'm going to say this. I don't think that Michigan beats Ohio State. But if I'm not mistaken, this week coming up, I believe is Ohio State, Wisconsin. And I'm calling upset alert right now. I think Wisconsin comes back from this loss and hands Ohio State their first loss and completely derails the entire college football playing.
That would be sweet. Maybe Wisconsin was looking past them, looking ahead to this.
Absolutely. I 100% believe that. I think that Wisconsin's defense is ridiculous with it.
Oh, yes.
They fell asleep going against Illinois, and that happens a lot of times.
And who else can beat Ohio State? Dabo. And I'm not even talking about Clemson. I'm talking about Dabo himself. He could knock Ohio State off.
Well, I'm just saying
he's a national treasure.
He is a national treasure, and the last time that Dabo faced the Ohio State University, goose egg. Nah.
I think he could go up there and win himself
with his shirt off.
With his shirt off and everything, yeah.
Oh yeah, and just side note. I believe it's Andrew Booth throwing punches, had to ride the bus home.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah, wow. Made him ride the freaking Dabo don't play.
He don't play. He does not play at all.
Play.
And,
no.
And when and everybody was up at arms because he was freaking giving his kicker the business and everything. Dabo said it straight up. He says the kicker is the same as the quarterback, the same as the running back. They're all players. He doesn't treat anyone any different. And Clemson kicked out Booth before the referees did. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, because you saw him walking toward the locker room before they even made that call for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Wow.
But I could make an entire episode about Clemson, as you guys already know. So
yeah, we know he can do that. So guess what I'm about to do?
Well, and he sent him back. He sent him back on the bus.
Wow.
So he didn't let him ride the plane back to campus. He made him ride the bus, and that brings me down to 2 pepper points at the end of the show. I was actually going to talk about that.
Stop, thief!
No, it's a great point to make though. How even in that situation, Dabo turned that into a learning situation for that kid, and in the wussification of America, you need more of that straight up public discipline like that. He apologized for the kid. He didn't shame him, but he let everybody know that that's not us, that's not him, and we're going to take care of that going forward. And that Booth kid will be better for this experience.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that Dabo set that precedence, man. I think more coaches and more, it needs to happen more in society. So over to the AP top 25. We're just gonna go through 1 through 10, and we're gonna have a little honorable mention because we saw it coming, but we didn't see it coming at this rate. Number 1, Uncle Max's Alabama. Number 2, LSU. 3, Ohio State, and Clemson round up the top 4. Oklahoma 5, Penn State 6, Florida 7, Notre Dame 8, Auburn 9, Georgia 10, and I almost said the Oregon Ducks at 11, but I said top 10, right? I sure did. And cracking the top 25, the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Yeah, the undefeated App State Mountaineers. And Michigan is at number 19. They'll be at number 25 before it's all said.
Yeah, they don't even deserve to be in the top 25 at this point, I don't think.
Yeah. Then we got boys.
Should be Pitt. Pitt should be up there, I think, right?
Yeah. Speaking of Pitt, shout out to that fella that delivered that technically sound German suplex. Ooh. I've seen a lot of football tackles turn into suplex, but as soon as I seen him, I was like, it's over with. It's over with. I saw feet in the air, hips pop, boom, over with. Yeah. Don't give that man a flag. He's just trying to take the man down with the ball. That's what you do. All right. And that is it for another edition of the college football recap. Starting to heat up, fellas. Starting to heat up as playoff time comes around. Alabama next man up. I don't think they miss a beat, but it'll be telling without Heisman Trophy candidate Tua. And I'm not going to pronounce his last name because that means I have to edit more.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
And thanks again to the wonderful Miss Button for the intro to Choices of the Voices. Yeah, you heard the woman. This is our favorite part of the show. She's not lying. She's telling the 100% truth. TROOF. Hey, be live. What your ass say? I had to throw it in there. I had to throw it in there.
Just for our listeners, please just look up Godfrey imitating Steve Harvey on YouTube. It is absolutely hilarious. I cried. I'm telling you, we cried laughing the entire vacation that we had. Crying, laughing. I'm talking about I had our Uber driver laughing. I mean, I'm just it was too funny.
I was like, dude, take us to the comedy club before you wreck on Hollywood Boulevard. No, sir, nobody. All right, choices of the voices time. All right, we're back. And Scottie D, what was this week's question for the choices of the voices?
I asked what your favorite college football rivalry was, and to give us a memorable moment from that clash. And our Our listeners / followers were very limited in what they gave us on this one this week. Not sure why, but we had a few responses. Let's see what we had there, Eddie. Cool.
All right, we got a few of them, man. Leading off is the uncle to the show. Let me make sure I spell that right because it's not UNCLE, it is UNKLE after checking out one of his Facebook posts. Uncle Max. And, of course, Uncle Max, he chooses Alabama and Auburn, and he gives us a specific date. November 28th, 1981. This will come as a big surprise. Alabama, Auburn. Not really, but also coined as the bitterest rivalry in football. He said, my favorite moment is when the series came on that date, when Alabama came back on the fourth quarter to beat Auburn to give Bear Bryant his 315th win, surpassing Amos Alonzo Stagg to become the winningest coach in Division I college football history. Sadly, Bear Bryant would pass away some 14 months later, and 14 months later, and 1 month after his final game coaching. A little bittersweet, but hey, it's a rivalry, man. It's one of the most intense rivalries in all of Alabama. That's how it is in Alabama. Either you're Alabama or you're Auburn. We're not talking about no UAB, nothing in between. Either you're Alabama or Auburn. So shout out to Uncle Max for that one. All right, we got Trey Dizzle. Trey Duke says the Eastern Illinois Panthers versus Illinois State. Tony Romo's mighty blue and gray Panthers matched up versus the Redbirds of Illinois State University. You knew when Romo and the Redbirds came together, it would be a primetime brawl for the ages.
He is clowning us.
I figured
that's a clowning answer. He's just he can't get over Tony Romo being retired. He hates Dak Prescott. He wants Romo back. He can't. It's like a bad breakup for Trey. Trey, come on, bro, get it together. Give us a better answer than a Romo reference. He's clowning us.
Trey, we're gonna have to call it an intervention, brother. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to call it an intervention.
Let's talk about this real quick. Trey Dizzle. Because one thing that I thoroughly enjoy about Choices of the Voices is that we get the opportunity, we see people's responses, and we get to ponder. We get to think about it. Because as you know, we don't answer the questions on the Facebook page because we give the voices to you. Mm-hmm. And then we talk about it on the show and everything. But I sat and I looked at this. I said, what? Why? Why? I understand. I mean, the name of, you know what? I'm putting it on the air. Don't care. The name of his fantasy football team is Romosexual.
So there you go. You know he's got it bad.
This is
you got it bad.
This is to the point where we need serious psychological help. I like what Eddie Cool said. This is an intervention. Trey Duke, we need you to hashtag do better. It's going to be all right.
It's going to be fine.
I just remember your pressure points and woosah.
So breathe in and breathe out.
Yeah. Tony Romo is not coming back to us. He has officially retired.
Yeah, he's hitting golf balls and doing a hellified job.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Enjoy his golf game. Enjoy Tony Romo in the essence of his retirement.
Did B-Live just turn into Jim Nance? Like, am I watching the Masters? Like, what the hell is going on?
And that is your moment of zen.
With B-Live, Jim Nance. What the hell just happened? You just had an out-of-body experience. Episode 32 of SportsBros Podcast, Jim Nance. We don't know how the hell he got there, but he popped up.
We're off the rails, man. Let's get this thing back on track. What is going on?
Oh, man. It gets better. All right, we got Martin Tracy. Jesus Christ. Here comes this one.
No. He's freaking Coyote Roadrunner. Pass on this conversation. Let's move on to the next one. I mean, it's a funny thought, but pass. Who else we got?
Well, that limits it because we got some tomfoolery on that one too. Tom Wynn, he also selected Alabama and Auburn.
There you go.
All right, he said, the last 6 years, the Iron Bowl, Bama lines up to kick the winning field goal against hated Auburn. It is short, and Auburn returns the short field goal back to 100 yards. Winner, chicken dinner. And he also mentioned Scott Money Donnelly chicken dinner. Something about chicken and Scott and eating and stuff. But yeah, Tom Wynn, that's a really good pick. And that's a short version of the choices of the voices. Scottie D, college football rivalries and the best moment and go.
Well, I grew up with Pitt, Penn State. That was discontinued, then started up again and discontinued again. So too much. Yeah, for me personally, that would probably be it if they would just let that go. I can't call that one. And Ohio State, Michigan, I think is probably a close second to my choice. And the most memorable moment for that one to me will always be that Desmond Howard Heisman pose.
Yep.
But I'm going to have to agree with our other guys that went with Iron Bowl. I know South Carolina, Clemson's got a great rivalry in this area, but I think overall the Iron Bowl, because those guys don't have another professional sport in there, and Auburn and Alabama it's like God in that state. Yep. And to me, the most memorable moment didn't even happen on the field. It's Harvey Updike. You guys know who Harvey Updike is?
No, who's Harvey Updike?
This is the dude back in 2013 poisoned the oak trees at Toomer's Corner in Auburn. That. He killed their trees, and they sentenced him to like 70 days in jail and like an $800,000 fine. And he basically told the judge, roll damn tide, and he ain't paying. I mean, this dude loves Alabama football to the point that he actually could have got away with poisoning those trees, but he didn't want to. He called a radio show and told on himself. Roll damn tide. Now that guy, that's some passion right there. So that's my choice, the Iron Bowl and Harvey Updike.
I'm currently looking at pictures of Harvey Updike, and from the looks of it, he looked like he would tell the judge, roll damn tide. Oh my God. I'm looking at this guy.
He looks like a guy who would do that, doesn't he?
Yeah. He looks like a tree poisoner. He does. That is him.
He's got the big handlebar mustache and
the scowl and that atrocious tablecloth shirt from the Lamont Sanford collection that he has on going to court. Yeah. Roll damn tide. I ain't paying no damn fine. Oh my God.
I think he paid like $5,000 out of an $800,000 fine. Just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not paying anymore. You give him like $200 a year for a couple of years or something crazy like that. But that dude's that's a guy who's passionate about his team right there.
The legend of Harvey Updike. Be Live, who you got?
I'm actually going to do something completely different. Eddy, cool, because I know where me and you both stand when it comes to college football. I would like for you to go first, because then I'm going to opine. I'm going to bounce off of you, because I want to see what your take is first, because I got a good fresh one, but I want to see where you go with it first. I'm switching up the whole game. Let me see what you got first.
Well, speaking of, I'm gonna switch it up too, because I would go with the obvious, Clemson, Carolina, but man, I'm telling you, I was stuck between Ohio State and Michigan. But I'm gonna have to roll with that Alabama and Auburn game, man. These games these last few years have been pretty good, especially with the kick six missed field goal return. That was like, I'm like, wow, this just happened in the Iron Bowl. This is a pretty big deal. So I'm gonna have to roll with Alabama and Auburn as one of the most intense rivalries in college football, because I've had a chance to talk to people from Alabama, and it's either like they say, hey man, either you're Alabama or you're Auburn. There's no between. And Alabama's like, look, either you Alabama or you just saying 4 little words that rhymes with poop and defecation. So yeah, is that heated, it's that serious, and Yeah, man. Alabama and Auburn is where it is. I know I just threw a curveball to B-Live, and his jaw, I think his jaw just hit the floor. So
No.
we'll see what he says. What you got, B?
No. My jaw didn't drop. I can understand that. But it just, that was the reason why I wanted you to go before me, because I want to save the best for last. And I can be completely passionate about my choice when it comes to the greatest rivalry. There is no other rivalry. There is no Ohio State, Michigan. There is no Alabama, Auburn. There is no Florida, Georgia, Florida State, Duke, North Carolina. I don't care. Clemson versus South Carolina is the biggest and baddest rivalry there is, bar none. Hate is not even closely described when it comes to what happens between the Clemson and South Carolina rivalry. When it comes to freaking vandals chipping Howard's Rock to the point that we have to have freaking security guard our valued precious treasure, keep your hands off my freaking rock. 110%, I need it. But my most memorable part of the Clemson-South Carolina rivalry goes back to 2004.
Ooh, that was a good one.
The game ended up being 29-7 Clemson. But oh my goodness. Clemson versus South Carolina 2004, the day after that whole malice in the palace between the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers. Who cares about that? That was 12 players versus 12 players and a few people in the stands. We're talking 90 football players versus 90 football players over the span of the entire football field, just throwing haymakers and punches and all of that. That was by far, that will never, like, that is the epitome of a rivalry. I don't care what anybody says, because it started at the beginning of the game, because it was at Clemson Memorial Stadium, Death Valley, DEATH, as opposed to LSU's Death Valley, DEAF. Learn your history. Where South Carolina gathered below the hill where Clemson players usually run down and wanted to start an altercation at the bottom of the hill. And then we had to lay up the smackers down on their candy asses, as The Rock would say. And they didn't take that loss too well. And then it spun. I think it was Savell Newton was the quarterback for South Carolina at the time.
Good old fall down Savell.
And if I remember correctly, Clemson sacked them and decided to lay on them a little bit longer than South Carolina players liked. And South Carolina was losing. The Coots were losing. And cue the fight music.
Yeah, and a fight ensued.
And it spanned the entire football field, and it was crazy, to the point where both schools imposed their own penalties of sitting out bowl games, forfeiting money that comes from the bowl games. They said, nope, we're not going to do it. Embarrassment to both schools, et cetera, et cetera. It was an embarrassment somewhat, but man, oh man, was it. That's what rivalry is all about. I don't like you. I don't like the colors that you're wearing. I don't like your face. Even though two best friends are both Gamecock fans.
You deal with us. You deal with it.
I
just like we deal with you being a Clemson fan. Just like I'm looking at an orange spray can in my house that I'm about to throw on the floor just now. Just because it's making me itch.
I just realized.
I barely drink orange juice.
But man, that is the rivalry. The rivalry.
Yeah, the rivalry. All right, so that's pretty good. Scottie D, what you got for next week's Choices of the Voices questions?
All right, we kind of collectively came up with this idea we're going back to the NFL, but we're right at pretty close to the halfway point here, the NFL season. So far this season, what has been your biggest pleasant surprise and your biggest disappointment? What did you, pretty much expectations you had for one team? Are they meeting them? And who has exceeded your expectations, that sort of thing? And if you even want to throw in who you think your halfway point MVP is so far, we'll take that too. So just kind of your biggest surprises of the NFL season so far. What has stood out to you so far? And I'm sure we got a couple things on our own minds to kick around, but we'd love to have a little bit more feedback next week from our listeners. So let us know what you think about the NFL season at our halfway point.
All right, and that is it for another action-packed, entertaining edition of Choices of the Voices. Rolling right along to the end of the show, getting a go-home cue, and it is pepper time. That's right. It's been a while, in case you forgot. 3 topics, kind of sort of rapid-fire style. And with that being said, I'll go first. First pepper point goes out to Jonathan Taylor, Wisconsin running back, the fastest of 5,000 career rushing yards, and he's only a junior. And this probably tells me that he probably won't be coming back for his senior season, and he may be going to the NFL draft. The guy's a beast. The guy's a dog. Hellified running back, especially behind that big old Wisconsin Badger offensive line. They play no games. They mow him over, and he rakes up the yards. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, well, Jalen Ramsey of the Jaguars, formerly of the Jaguars, got his wish. He finally got out of town, and his debut with the Rams went well. They got off the schneid themselves, with a 3-game losing streak. I'm not ready to bury the Rams yet, and this could be the kind of thing that could zap them back to life. You know, every team that goes through some kind of struggle or turmoil during the season, the San Francisco 49ers have not gone through that yet. They are 6-0, currently a 3-game lead in the loss column on the Rams. But you never know. That Jalen Ramsey deal may just be what the doctor ordered for the LA Rams. Over to you, B Live.
All right. So, let's see. Chase Daniel, Gardner Minshew, Kyle Allen, Josh Rosen, Mason Rudolph, Jacoby Brissett, Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, Colt McCoy, Ryan Tannehill, Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Moore. What do all those names sound like to you?
Backup quarterbacks.
Backup quarterbacks. And so what does the NFL do in the midst of having all of these star quarterbacks on the men, hurt, et cetera, whatever reasons that may be? Oh, let's extend the regular season by a game and go for 17 games instead of 16. Ugh. What in the world are you thinking? You can barely keep a good product on the field for 16. Have you looked at the stands recently? Have you seen some of these stadiums? Ugh. They're barely half full, and you're trying to extend the regular season, and you can't even keep players on the field because of all these injuries? NFL, stop it. You have to, at this point in time, you have to put a much bigger percentage in the players' pockets if you're going to do this, because it's ridiculous. I'm happy with 16. I think the entire world is happy with 16. Look at some of your Thursday night games. Look at some of your Monday night games that people barely want to watch. You want to add another game to that? For what reason? Leave stuff alone. Stop trying to be greedy, et cetera, et cetera. Look out for the players. Mm-hmm. But you know what? My voice ain't going to be heard as much as I want it to be, but this is ridiculous. The fact that almost half of your teams don't have a healthy starting quarterback, they have backups in, and you want to extend the season, get out of here. Eddy Cool, take this ball and run with it.
I'll take it, man. Hey, that's a telling tale, man, of you want to do what? Do you see what you can barely do? So, yeah, no, it's ridiculous. All right, and let's not forget, we got the NBA coming up around the corner. I think it should be starting in a few days or the day this podcast drops. Basketball, back in season. There's been a lot going on. But guess what? Pascal Siakam, Spicy P from the world champion Toronto Raptors, he gets paid. He gets a 4-year max extension for $130 million. I'll tell you what, man, if it's anybody that deserves the money, it's him, because he really showed up and showed out this past season. And let's see what Spicy P does this year. He'll practically have the team on his back because ain't no Kawhi there. And, hey, they'll make the most out of it. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, Siakam getting some cash. You know who else is going to get some cash is Garrett Cole. Next year he's going to be a free agent. Garrett Cole, as you well know, was the starter for the Pirates from 2013 to 2017 before they traded him to the Astros. In his 2 seasons with Houston, his ERA has been under 3, and he's made 2 All-Star games. And for that reason, I want to punch him. Over to you, B-Live.
What the fuck?
Somebody's a little salty because somebody he decided to get better. He decided to do better after he left Pittsburgh.
Yep.
All right. I mentioned a little earlier in the show when it comes to college football and the AP poll, and I was saying to my Clemson family, my bleed orange family, to relax. But I also want to opine on the AP poll, which means absolutely nothing when it comes to the college football playoff. It's just a bunch of writers and journalists that claim to have all this expertise and blah, 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 sitting behind a keyboard saying who the best teams in America are. This is ridiculous. But I thank you. I thank you, AP voters, because my beloved coach, all roads lead to Dabo, is going to take these articles that put Clemson from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and I'm pretty sure he's got it pictured, posted up somewhere in the locker room. So I appreciate that material, that fuel for what Dabo Swinney likes to call the Roy bus, the rest of y'all bus. If y'all haven't heard about the Roy bus, it's simply put that it's Alabama and it's then the rest of y'all.
Wow.
And Clemson is part of that rest of y'all. Even though we've beaten Alabama 2 out of the past 3 years with a thrashing of 44-16, once again, Clemson is part of the Roy bus. Thank you, AP voters, because now, once again, as I said earlier in the show, the rest of the teams that we play will have to pay the price.
Dun, dun, dun. Spooky Halloween music.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a little caught up. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
Oh, God. Eddie Cool, please take this ball. Go ahead.
Please.
Oh, man, give me the ball. Give me the train. All right. Third and final pepper point. As I did mention in my previous pepper point, it's about to be bad, scared. But I didn't sing the whole song, so you can't sue me. Because if you do, I ain't got nothing. My NBA Finals predictions. I know it's a little early, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Coming out the West is the Clippers. But it's going to be a fight because the West is, I think, with Golden State not having that firepower, I don't think Golden State will fall off too bad, but they'll be in the thick of things. Western Conference Finals is going to come down to the Clippers and the Warriors. In the East is the Bucks and Roy. Rest of y'all on the rest of y'all bus. So with that being said, my finals prediction, we got the Clippers, Bucks, Clippers in 6. Scottie D, what you got?
Eddie Cool. Right arena, wrong team. because the West is going to be won by the LA Lakers.
Oh,
yeah, baby. The Lakers are making their comeback this year. It's time to return to relevance. I actually think the West is going to come down to those two teams. I know that Houston added Westbrook. I think that's a powder keg. At some point, that's going to blow up down
waiting
there.
to happen.
Yep. Golden State is going to be without Klay Thompson a big part of the year, and obviously Durant's gone. They're still going to be good, but they're not going to be dominant. And that leaves the Lakers versus Kawhi, and I like having Anthony Davis pulling rebounds and blocking shots. And I'm not going to disagree with you with the Bucks. I think the East belongs to them this year. They're going to be poised to take that next step. Giannis showed a little bit of weakness in the playoffs, and I think that he'll work on improving his all-around game and free throws. The only other team that intrigues me over there really is the 76ers, if they're going to be able to take that next step. So I think it's going to be the Bucks and Sixers, but I think it's going to come down to Lakers, Bucks, and LeBron riding off into the summer sun with another ring. Over to you, B Live.
Let me go ahead and say this real quick as my final pepper point. Once again, saving the best for last. How in the hell is it possible for you to be a Yankees fan and a Lakers fan? That's two entirely different sides of the country. That really just sounds like, let me pick the best team in the country right now.
Have you not heard me talk about my favorite college football team, the Pitt Panthers, or the Pittsburgh Pirates baseball team? Have you not paying attention?
But I understand that. I've been paying attention. I've been paying attention, but the most beautiful part about being a sports journalist is you get to cherry pick.
I didn't know you were a sports journalist. Forgive me.
Yeah, I'm not, but I play one on this podcast.
Hey,
all right, listen.
Hey, this guy holds a degree, so I guess I'm kind of sort of a journalist.
Listen, when I grew up in Pittsburgh, there was no basketball team. When I was growing up, it was either Bird or Magic. And I went with the Lakers. I like the Lakers. And I am of the opinion that when you're an adult team, so I've stayed. That's who I like. I can't help it. I like the Lakers.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, so I'm not gonna be a homer and just go LA. Yeah, I actually believe that the Westbrook Harden reunion in Houston is going to shock the world.
What?
Tick.
Yeah. It's gonna be an explosion, all right, and nobody's gonna be ready for it. People think that it's two ball hogs, et cetera, et cetera. I honestly believe I'm actually anticipating seeing both of them on the court, weaving and bobbing, doing what they do. I don't think there is a defense in the world that could stop them two, honestly. And I'm going to pick the Houston Rockets to come out of the West. And I don't know if y'all been paying attention in the East, but Ben Simmons might have a jump shot.
I saw that.
He might have a jump shot, which makes him incredibly dangerous. I'm picking the 76ers to come out of the East. The Rockets versus the 76ers. And you know how I'm outside the box thinking with it. I don't care. It's what I do. And that's how you put a little chipotle on that pepper.
Chipotle
I like it.
on the pepper. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. But before we go, Scottie D, how can the folks reach you?
Hey, you know what, guys? I got myself a new trivia gig on Mondays. I am at Bowie's in North Myrtle Beach. It's up on right just by Main Street on Ocean Boulevard. I'll be there at 6 o'clock each Monday evening, and at Wild Wing Cafe, 6:45 on Wednesdays, and Barefoot Landing. And just check us out, the Facebook page, Scott Donnelly and the Sports Bros. A couple of Facebook pages to follow us on. Thank you all for your attention.
Yep, we got a whole lot going on. And, of course, Almighty Be Like, where can they find you?
You can find me at St. Louis.
Hey.
Oh, my bad. Well, check it out.
You have to stop setting him up like that, Eddie.
It's been 2 weeks, Scott. Damn it.
Yeah.
I can't help it. You can find your boy at Max Speed Shop here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, 482 North McPherson Church Road, home of the best brisket, pulled pork, and burgers in the world. Oh, my goodness. Where you can find all the sports, 57 beers on tap, over 200 bottles and cans. That's what I do. I'm the bar manager there, so I keep the drinks flowing. Always drink responsibly.
Yes.
And don't drink and drive, as I've learned in my life. All right, cool.
Oh no.
But check it out. You know, I'm throwing some social media sites at you real quick. You can find me, your boy, the Almighty Be Live. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at This Be Your Boy Be Live. No I at the beginning. So THSBEYABOYBLIV. Did I even spell that right? I don't even know at this point in time.
USHER. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Be Live.
Check me out on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us also the SportsBros Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram is at SportsBros Podcast, all one word. On Twitter is SportsBros PCast. Also, you can check us out. Have any questions, comments, concerns? You can check us out on our email, sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. Check out our WordPress. Check us out on YouTube, on our Facebook like page. Facebook like page is going to have all of our videos and memes and all kinds of other silliness and news. Check me out on Wednesdays. I'm going to be back at it with you with What Happened? Pause. Wednesdays, yes, sir. And hey, check us out. I'm still continuing to work on the YouTube page as well, getting some more videos up there. I believe I just uploaded one of my favorite What Happened Wednesdays when it comes to Ohio State University. I honestly, that's my favorite one. I still laugh to this day. I laugh at myself. Don't judge me. Eddie Cool, finish us off. Get us out of here with it.
And as always, you can catch me, Eddie Cool, on Snapchat, supercool5000. Leave me some questions, some comments, and I just might read them on the show. Also, Instagram, Cool Season, all one word, and the Sports Bros page on Facebook, as well as the Sports Bros on Instagram. YouTube, almost said MySpace, but I don't even know that exists. YouTube, Facebook, WordPress, anything in Sports Bros, you can find us. Hey, we got some things in the works. Hey, y'all. Oh, guess what? I'm done with school, so guess what's about to come back? The Thursday videos. Could you get 3 things Thursday or Tranquilo Thursday? Stay tuned. I might have something special planned because I've been thinking about it for the past few months, and it might come to fruition. So hold on to your footy socks because I got something for you. So yeah, that's where you can check us out. And bros, I want to say thank you for your support during these last few months as we got the podcast up and running, sticking with me through the whole graduation process. Be Live, thank you for being there. Scottie D, thank you for holding it down while we were gone. We owe you one. I just want to thank you guys so very much for making this thing come about. And also, I want to give a thanks and a big shout out to the listeners as well too. Listeners, keep listening. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell everybody you know about the Sports Bros Podcast because we do this for you. And we also do it for Scottie D because, we don't want him in the house talking to his couches about sports and the couch is not replying. And then he beats up the couch and then we wondering what in the hell is going on.
Very true.
And with that, any final words before we head out, fellas?
Let me do a favor. I got to do it for the world, for the listeners. Allow me to introduce to you the 2019 graduate from Ashford University with a Bachelor of Arts degree. God bless, I forgot it.
You're gonna make me late for work. Just say his name.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, fellas, you got anything last words?
I can't even do it anymore.
What the hell with it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another action-packed version of the Sports Bros Podcast. B-Live still hadn't recovered from vacation. Scottie D about to be late from work. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. Even if that includes going on a vacation like B-Live just did. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it. Happy to be back. And this is another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.
What the hell?
See you next week, guys.